What's going on? It's Trending Story. If it's your first time here and you want to find out new facts that will definitely make you smarter and more well informed, make sure to subscribe and active the notifications bell so you don't miss anything.
When a little boy was walking through the woods by Lake Kurtna-Matisjarv in Estonia, he noticed a rough path carved into the lake's edge leading directly into the water. How, he wondered, had this never been spotted before? When he brought his discovery to the attention of some nearby adults, they started a full-scale investigation into what created the path. Nobody thought it would lead to any sort of significant finding, but pretty soon everyone's jaw hit the floor. While walking through the woods one rainy afternoon, a boy from Estonia noticed this odd path leading directly to Lake Kurtna-Matisjarv. It didn't look natural, however. It looked like it had been gouged into the ground by something now in the lake. Instead of keeping this discovery to himself, he immediately alerted his parents, who told others in the neighborhood. Everyone was intrigued by this mysterious path to the water. They made an attempt to pull whatever it was lodged under the water out, but it soon became clear they couldn't do it alone. It was time to alert the authorities. With the proper equipment, they knew the mystery would come to an end. Authorities drove a massive bulldozer into the wooded area to pull, with the help of some ropes, whatever carved the trail out of the water. Some divers attached ropes to the object and then attached the ropes to the bulldozer. All the horsepower of the heavy equipment tugged on whatever was submerged in the water. After some time, the bulldozer pulled something to the surface. A few people cleared away mud and muck with shovels and revealed what exactly had submerged itself. A few people gasped as they saw a massive open hatch, and soon a complete picture formed in the crowd's head. Was this some kind of old transport vehicle? Too eager to learn more about the mystery to leave it for another day, folks armed with shovels continued digging away at the grime caked to the vehicle. Everyone's excitement was growing. Finally, after hours of sweaty, high-energy work, everyone involved in the massive undertaking uncovered enough of the metallic mystery to finally see what it was. It was a World War II tank, and somehow it was in nearly perfect condition. The turret loomed over everyone's heads as the enormous metal frame rattled out onto the bank. According to the authorities, the tank was a Soviet-built T-34-76A. Naturally, people began wondering why such a powerful weapon was simply left forgotten under the water. After much deliberation, historians theorized the tank was abandoned in the lake so that an approaching enemy couldn't get their hands on it. The last things the Soviets needed was the enemy using their own technology against them. Incredibly, the 27 metric ton tank had been at the bottom of the lake for 56 years. Sure, the water had eroded the metal a little bit, but overall it was in amazing condition. It almost looked good enough to hop in and operate. After the tank was dragged far enough up the bank, people took pictures and posed with the enormous piece of history. Years later, half a world away, authorities noticed a peculiarity about a certain North American lake. About 100 miles away from Portland, Oregon, the Detroit Dam on North Santiam River creates a reservoir known as Detroit Lake. The lake provides water for the city of Salem and intrigue every autumn. Towards the end of every year, the lake runs mostly dry, exposing a cracked and grassy surface that brings locals out to the Marion County mountains in droves. It's not the lake's barren surface they want to see, however. Well, not exactly. Rather, travelers pull off Route 22 every fall, usually between October 1st and January 1st, hoping to catch a glimpse of history. A piece of the area's rich past jutting from the soil like a troop of 2-foot soldiers. Tree stumps pepper the landscapes, vestiges of the past creating an eerie atmosphere. Touch a stump and you won't feel the familiar bark. Rather, you'll feel a thick and bloated stump that belongs to the depths of Detroit Lake. Most thought these stumps, interesting as they are, were all the drained lake had to offer. When full, the lake's a popular place for water sports. But in 2015, a drought drained the lake in its entirety, revealing the deepest depths of the reservoir. During the drought, and thanks to a lack of snowfall in the Cascades, the lake dropped 143 feet below capacity. Marion County Sheriff's Deputy Dave Zahn saw this as an opportunity to explore the land beyond the stumps. I went on a treasure hunt down along the river, figuring I'd find foundations or something like that, Deputy Dave said. He wandered the dried-up lake bed, grazing the stumps with his fingertips until he saw something in the distance. In a part of the lake bed submerged underwater for over 70 years, The deputy saw what at first might have looked like a fat tree branch in between two stumps, but as he neared the oddity, he saw more clearly what it actually was. Out of the mud stuck a wagon, complete with massive spoked wheels and a spring seat. Low oxygen levels in the reservoir preserved the piece of history almost perfectly, including a metal plate with some telling details. The metal plate revealed the wagon was built in 1875 by the Milburn Wagon Company of Toledo, Ohio, the biggest wagon manufacturer in the US at the time. A simple discovery, yes, but one that had an immeasurable impact on the local community. The wagon discovery reopened the past. While the history of Lake Detroit wasn't exactly a secret, it didn't hurt for Oregonians who might not know to ask, what's the story behind this wagon and all those stumps? The charming history, soon consumed by locals intrigued by the wagon, went like this. In the 1880s, pioneers, likely steering carts like the one Deputy Dave found, left Michigan for the Pacific Northwest. They made a settlement along a river. They called their settlement New Detroit, named of course for their home state's largest city. While New Detroit never matched the size of its namesake, the settlement did grow out to about 200 people. The small community, nestled in a pocket of trees, first housed builders from the Oregon Pacific Railroad, but eventually it thrived on its own merit as citizens built cafes, churches, hardware stores, and logging companies. For about 70 years the small settlement grew. But then Congress devised a plan to help out farmers and downstream towns getting obliterated by a constantly flooding North Santiam River, the construction of a dam. Thanks to Deputy Dave's lake bed exploration, the history of New Detroit was brought into the light once more. That neat wagon, which experts supposed had never before been exposed until that 2015 drought, triggered an entire area's interest in its colorful past. Thanks for watching. Please like and share the video in social networks. We'll be right back to you as fast as we can.